first mini lecture on price in the marketing mix. And in this video, we're going to talk about the 3 major pricing strategies that businesses might use. So this is our learning objective. By the end of this video, you should be able to identify the 3 major pricing strategies and discuss why they're important. Discuss why understanding customer value is important and the role of company costs and competitor strategies when setting prices. So let's get started. What do we mean when we talk about price? Well, that doesn't really need an explanation, I don't think. It's what we pay when we buy a product or a service, or what a business charges us when they sell us a product or a service. Of course, the price that a business charges will determine the firm's market share and how profitable they are. And it's the price, of course, that produces the revenue for the business. So there are 3 approaches really that a business can take, 3 main approaches that a business can take to setting its prices. One is they can think about what it costs them to make the product. At the other end of the spectrum, they can think about what customers perceive value to be. And of course, they need to take into account competition and other external factors. So we're going to look at each of those different approaches one by one now. And we're going to start with customer value-based pricing, which is where a business starts by thinking about what do customers see as value for this kind of product. So they don't start by thinking about their costs, they start by thinking about the customer and what the customer perceives value to be. So businesses can take different approaches, even within value-based pricing. They could think about, we're going to offer a good value pricing, in other words, at the cheaper end of the spectrum, or we can add something extra to our product or service, and therefore we can charge a little bit more. Value-added pricing. This is an example. AMC Cinema Suites. They decided that they would add more amenities rather than compete head-on just on price. They decided they would offer more comfortable chairs, they would offer tables, food, drinks within the cinema, and that has allowed them to charge more. So the idea of value-added pricing, giving your customers more value and therefore being able to charge a little bit more for it. So let's have a quick comparison between value-based, which we just spoke about, and cost-based pricing. So with cost-based pricing, businesses will start by thinking, okay, we've designed this great product. What does it cost us to produce this product? And then we need to set a price based on that cost, because we have to cover our costs, don't we? And then we've got to convince the buyers of the product's value. So we're going to try to sell this product at a price that makes us a profit when we've paid all our costs. Value-based pricing kind of starts at the other end. It starts with what customers want, and then the business will set a target price. This is the price that we want to be charging in this market because we think that's the price that will attract customers. So from there, the business will think about, okay, well, if we're going to do that, what costs can we incur? How much can we afford to spend on developing our product? And then they'll design a product, if they can, to deliver the value that customers want, hopefully at that target price. So the businesses is kind of doing the same thing, but they're starting at different ends of the spectrum. Let's have a look at cost-based pricing in a little bit more detail. I've already said it's based on the cost of producing, but not just producing, also distributing and selling the product, and of course, that bit of profit in there as well. And you may remember from last semester in your Introduction to Accounting module, you talked about different types of costs. And you may well remember thinking about this, cost plus pricing, break even. Do we remember that? So with cost plus pricing, the business will determine how much it costs us to make the product, and then they'll add on a bit for profit. Simple. Break-even pricing is very similar, But here we also take into account the volume of products, the number of products that we're likely to sell. And that can be done using this kind of break-even diagram. Does this look familiar? Do we remember this? So in this diagram, we see that we have fixed costs, which never really change. If I want to manufacture smartphones, first of all, I need a factory, and it doesn't really matter if I sell one phone or 1 million phones, I still have to pay for my factory. That's a fixed cost. But with every phone I manufacture, I'm going to need to buy a few more raw materials, and those represent my variable costs, this purple line here. So if I add the fixed costs and the variable costs, I get the total costs. And once I've set my price, I can look at how different prices will give me different totals of revenue. And on this diagram here, we can see that with the price that has been chosen, this business will need to sell 600,000 units of this product in order to break even. In other words, in order to cover their costs. What they want to do is they want to get a target return of $2 million. And in order to do that, they would need to sell more like 800,000 products. So with this break-even costing, we're looking at the price we can charge given the number of units we think we're likely to sell. But it still is based on costs. So the third type of pricing that we mentioned at the beginning was competition-based pricing. So this is where the business will look at what competitors are doing. What are their strategies? What are their prices? What products or services are they offering to the market? And the company, any business looking to use this kind of pricing will need to look at what the competition is doing, but also what they themselves are doing. Are we offering something that's higher quality than the competition? If so, we can probably charge more. Are we offering something that's lower quality? We need to charge less. How about our brand? A strong brand might allow us to sell more. So it's about looking at the competition here and judging what's going on with them. And of course, this isn't just about undercutting the competition. Take a company like this, Caterpillar. They dominate the heavy equipment industry, but their prices are high. They charge some of the highest prices, but they can do this because they have a strong brand and because their products are known for quality, so they can charge that higher price. Of course, setting a price is not just about costs and competition and customer perceptions of value. It's also about what's going on in the world. And if at the current time the business environment is difficult, perhaps the economy is struggling, perhaps there's high unemployment, perhaps people don't have much money to spend, then of course prices need to be adjusted for that as well. So we've looked at 3 major pricing strategies: competition-based pricing, value-based pricing, and cost-based pricing. In the following videos, we're going to look at some of these in a bit more detail. But for now, there are a few questions for you to answer, and then you can move on to the next video. Thank you for watching.